Yes, we are live and we are delighted as well. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. It's Fulham 1, Man United 2 with a late goal by Garnacho. And breathe, guys, and breathe. Yes. We got the 3 points and we are pushing top 4. That's the last game now to the 26th of December in the Premiership. And we got the 3 points. We are delighted. I am absolutely ecstatic. How are you feeling, Pat, after that, man? Wow.
Oh, man, I can actually breathe and relax. Because I in the preview show, I did say my head said 1-1, but my heart wants 2-1. And I was saying to myself, I don't want this 1-1 draw. I do not want this 1-1 draw. And that boy stepped up, and my God, it was magical. I think the neighbours are probably going to knock into my mother's house now later on to find out who was that man shouting by the top of his lungs. Even the mother was giving out to me. She's only short of hit me with a tea towel, get me to stop shouting. She was. Oh, what a game. How are you, lads? How's everybody?
I'm good. Rebel, you live in the countryside, so I don't think it matters if you could scream and dance around your living room.
No, I'm in a housing estate, so there's about 80 houses around me at the moment, so definitely wouldn't get away with that. We have these weird anomalies where there's big housing estates out in the middle of the arse end of nowhere, but anyway. I tell you what, it was a case of fortune favoured United. There's a lot that I'm not happy with today, but 3 points is 3 points.
Rebel, if you come to bring some bad news, I want you to bring the gospel of Ten Hag and the gospel of Garnacho, please. The book of Garnacho. Otherwise, we're going to dash it all away. I know it's Sunday, but if you're going to give a service, make sure it's good news that you're bringing. Anyway, first of all, we're talking about GMS, Global Mapping Surveys. That's our new sponsor, guys. They assist architects, property developers, and construction companies all over the country. They offer a wide range of services, such as setting out topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning, and monitoring. Link is in the description, guys, so check them out. And check out the guys in the comments. I just want to get a feel because I'm sure everyone's feeling just as excited as us. Don't forget, guys, if you tune into the Man United Agenda, press the like and subscribe button. You'll see us here every weekday. I want to say hi to Eddie, Football War 4. I thought you'd be with us today. He said, big up, guys. Glad we have another youth prospect to be excited about. Garnacho looks like he will be a talent. He did well to save a poor second half, he says. Bill Baggio said he's just got to stay grounded, not go down the Greenwood path, which is sort of like, we've seen that. We talk about that later about his attitude, turn up late for training. We don't want to see those traits. FC United forever saying, yes, Ed, great seeing the Spanish wonder kid doing well, unlike Stu Howson, who thinks he's Argentinian. He is Argentinian.
He plays for the Argentinian national squad, but he's born in Madrid, Omundi.
Okay. Bill Badger saying he's an RG. Yes, he's an RG. Argentina. Hey, FC United, whoever, how you doing? Unfortunately, long term, I think he go back to Madrid, to Real, as he's a Madrid lad, she says. Let's not talk about that yet. Let's celebrate him while he's at the club. Good evening to Matthew Bassett. How you doing, Matthew Bassett? He's saying hi to everyone in the chat as well. Matthew Bassett saying, relieved, we needed those points. We certainly did. Emma Kay saying, but what a moment for Garnacho with his first Premiership goal, and he gave us the 3 points as well. And big up to Stuart. He's absolutely buzzing. I don't know if you're still in the West Country, but big up, Stuart, man. How you doing? And worth getting injured for. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, that's the intro, guys. We're going to go into the game and all the details now. Talk about the opposition. We're up against Fulham today. Fulham have been a good team. Look, we have to give respect to them. Regardless, they didn't have Mitrovic today. They turned out to be a decent unit, didn't they? And I think, Pat, you want to talk about one player in particular?
Yeah, so obviously I don't watch Fulham on the regular, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to be a boffin on them. But Paulina, he stood out for me today. First of all, at the start of the game, he took Marcus Rashford out. Then he done it again. Then he done it again. And he done it again to Christian Eriksen. And I was like, do you know when you're watching a footballer and you're going, this fella's getting on my nerves? But he's getting on my nerves because he's doing it right. He was really getting stuck in. And I gave you a quick call on the half-time break there, and I said, Omundi, this fella has me sitting up and taking notice. He's a decent footballer. And he did it. He actually proved it in the second half as well. He had Casemiro, come the end of the first half, Casemiro with 3 tackles. This fella had 6 interceptions. So that's very good for a fellow I've never actually had a chance to watch before. So I thought he was very good today. And take my hat off to him. He even threw in a little overhead kick and all towards the end of the second half. So he had the kahunas to try that. Fair play to him. So I'll be watching out and keeping an eye on this fella going forward. And he got man of the match. So it was a big day for him, even though his side lost 2-1.
Rebel, do you know much about him? I didn't know anything about him. You've been doing the Fantasy Football League. I mean, this player is really a beast in midfield. He eats up everything.
I can't say that I proclaim to know much about the man, to be honest with you. But again, a bit like Pat, I was watching the way he was breaking up play for Fulham in midfield. And obviously, the work of defensive midfielders in a fantasy football context goes unnoticed because they're not rewarded in a points point of view. But looking at that game, a stat that did catch my eye from him was the 9 tackles that he made apparently is top tier in terms of Premier League interventions this season. So obviously definitely someone to keep an eye on. When you look at the Fulham team that started and some of the squad, like you could be forgiven for thinking that they're a bunch of, not wanted players from the larger clubs, but by God, as a unit, do they punch high above their weight.
I mean, they've definitely had some good results this season and put some big teams under pressure. And when we went 1-0 up, we were talking at halftime, said, okay, we've got this now, we've just got to stay secure and everything else. But they raided, they probed, and they got their goal. So fair play to them. And just to go, obviously they're missing Mitrovic as well. And he's their kingpin up front. He's big and strong. He gets on the end of things and he's key to the way they play. Don't you think, Pat?
He's a big lad and he wasn't afraid to get stuck in. But just towards the end of the second half, I kind of seen what he was about. He had a bit of a run on goal.
Mitrovic wasn't playing.
I'm talking about Vinicius.
Oh, I'll talk about Mitrovic missing.
Sorry.
I'm
talking about Vinicius stepping in for it, Mitrovic being missing. Vinicius, he had a for him stepping in for Mitrovic's role, and Mitrovic is the one who's getting the goals this season. He kind of had a one-on-one with Martinez. Martinez is about probably a foot and a half smaller than him, and he stayed with him, stood up, kept his composure, and just seen him out with a challenge. And I went, okay, I think Martinez is going to have this fella kind of quickly contained, and this mightn't be many chances for Fulham to get goals. But as the game went on, which we will allude to now in a few minutes, William, Andreas, Harry Wilson, they had players who could punish us at times. So as Rebel just says, they were punching well above their weight, but he well deserved it with the performance that he put in. I thought they were a good side.
Rebel, you're a man of stats. Emma's saying here, Fulham only lost 1 home game this season before we came to the cottage. Pretty impressive, don't you think?
Well, absolutely. And obviously the big one was the scalp that they took at the very first game of the season. And that is of a certain team that had ambitions to win titles this season and have been savagely thrown down to reality. Like that Fulham team, there's definitely something about the way they're organising. They're been known as the yo-yo team for the last number of seasons in the way that they've gone up and down in between Premier League and Championship. But there seems to be something a little bit different about them this season. The last time they were in Premier League, they bought in bare players, a bit like what Nottingham Forest actually have done this season, and it did not work because there was too many ingredients in the cake and it turned out sour. But this season, definitely, you have to be impressed with the way that they make themselves difficult to beat. Like, I have no doubt they are inside that dressing room right now, absolutely fuming with themselves that they haven't come away with at least a point from that game today. So you have to give them the utmost respect for the way they went about their business. And arguably, if the result was the other way around, I don't think we could have said too much about it because they did put in a great performance.
Fair, that's a good shout there. Listen, guys, let's talk about Man United team. There's 26 in the comments, guys. Make sure you press the like button. I hope everyone's buzzing just as much as we are. Come on, United, man. You know what? My chest swell up. I'm really excited, man. There's so many positive things to talk about, which I'm delighted about. And I'm glad you Irishman are on with me because he talks sense. First point, with the starting lineup, De Gea in goal, no question about that. Lindelof, Martinez, short left back. But we played Malacia at right back. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I thought he was a bit uncomfortable there at right back, naturally, because he's left-footed and he sort of wants to get out his feet. He cuts inside to his left foot where he's more comfortable. But I like his character. I like he wasn't sort of worried too much about the issues that he was having, maybe with the Chelsea man,
William.
the Chelsea man cutting inside William. That he's still got it, still got some ability there.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he showed a lot of character there. So what do you think about, two questions to both of you. What do you think about the manager's choice to put him there? Because you could put Lindelof there and Maguire at centre back, or there's maybe Wan-Bissaka. I don't know where he's at with his fitness and everything else. Or he decided to put Malacia there. Now, in hindsight, he's done okay, but they did target him and they did sort of raid that down that side. So decision-making, manager put him in, and his performance as well, please. What do you think about Malacia?
Can I come in there first, Pat?
Yeah, go ahead there, Rob.
I just have one very brief statement as to why Lindelof wasn't put right back, and I think it was a pace issue. I think you need someone that has a bit of an afterburn about them on those wide positions, and if you were to look at putting Lindelof out there, comparably speaking, it would actually be more beneficial to put in Wan-Bissaka in that situation, because I don't think we get any more from Lindelof out there than we would from Wan-Bissaka. So I can see what the manager tried, and I think it was purely down to possibly giving a bit more food for thought in an attacking sense and a possibility of an overlap to assist. I think, isn't it, Rashford was ahead of him today on that right-hand side. So that's where I was looking at, and I think it was a very simple decision for Ten Hag to put him over there. But it does show that we do need something in January to supplement Dalot.
Sorry, staying with you quickly on this, Rebel. You say we need something. Is right back the main priority now?
Well, there's two positions that are glaringly obvious that we have a problem with at the moment. One is at the top of the line, because unfortunately Ronaldo isn't the same player he used to be, and we do have still questions over Martial's fitness. If he can stay fit, Martial is going to ball out for Manchester United. There's no question about that. But when I look at the right back position in particular, it's not sustainable to have Dalot continue to play all these games, game in, game out, because at the end of the season, a bit like what we had with Bruno a couple of seasons back, he will be burnt out. And when we'll be looking for that bit of extra energy, maybe in the 60th, 70th minutes of those crucial home straight games, it might not be in the legs, and we run the risk of him getting injured. So we do need a player that Ten Hag is willing to put in and not be worried about in that right back position.
Well, I can say one thing today. Bobby Reid for Fulham. I would take him at Manchester United in a heartbeat. If that fella's playing our position and he's playing like that in defence, we could take him and put him at right back as a backup, and he can play up front as well. Because and I'm not joking, but it's only because he's playing our position and he played right back today. I thought he was very good. But Malacia, it speaks volumes for what Eric Ten Hag thinks of Malacia to put him in a game like that against a player like William, who's experienced. Now, did I think Malacia's head was spinning? Yes, it was for the first 20, 30 minutes of the game. Did he settle down when he kind of gauged what William was about, the kind of player he was, what kind of runs he was going to be making? I think he improved as he grew into the game, is what I'm trying to say. Did Fulham go relentless against poor Malacia down that side? Yes, they did. They even threw Robinson down that side at times with William on Malacia. I think he done very well for a young player who has to play into that position. Now, Omundi, you're a defensive man. What would have been going through Malacia's head as the game kicks off there, being playing out position? What would he be in fearing as his weak points, playing on the right-hand side, being a natural left-sided player?
Look, just got to get used to it. You think, why can't you just rotate and play on the opposite side? But you have to get used to a lot of things. It's your body shape as well, how you run. So, for example, we know that William likes cutting onto his right foot, as most inside wingers do. But so you're like that. You're checking, but you're doing it the opposite side. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, how often do you have to do that in training or in game time? You don't have to do that very often. So he had to sort of realize, right, I want to show him onto his left foot, but my body position wasn't. He had to learn that throughout the game, get his body position right to show him down the left onto his weaker foot. Talk about William, and rather than cutting him inside. And a couple of times William exploited him for that until he got his feet going, until he got himself set right. And he got a lot of encouragement from Lindelof as well. Obviously, they were getting targeted there. And ahead of him as well, he had Elanga. And I think that was a choice of the manager to put Elanga there as well, knowing Elanga had the legs and the physicality to get back and help out with these overlaps from left back, that kind of thing as well. So I just want, regardless, I know he had difficulty, but I really have to give admiration to the young man because I felt he grew throughout the game and he didn't shirk his responsibility. He kept going. Went to ground a couple of times. There's one where he got beat in the box and he just got, a touch on it. Where I thought, ooh, risky. But I like his character and I think he's a winner. And I think you can see the way people respond to him that he's doing really well. They like him. And I, as a fan as well, I like him too. And today was another example of why character is something that you can't really measure on stats. When people talk about FIFA, oh, he's got speed this, he's got first touch this, whatever. Rubbish. Character is everything. It's a mental game. And he showed that today. He gets props from me. Not man of the match, mind you, because we've got other great players to talk about. I know you guys in the comments are getting excited. We're going to just go through a few of your comments as well, guys, because there's so many people watching right now. What a game, and what a finish to the game. So let's just touch upon a few more comments.
Actually, Monday, can I ask a question to our commenters, our viewers, actually, because it's something I'm curious about. In terms of a man that you just mentioned there in your piece, Elanga, I got the feeling that he hasn't got the benefit of, getting out on loan and getting some of that big game experience. Is he a bit of a raw, uncut diamond, or do you think that there is possibly a lot lower of a ceiling with an Elanga than there is, we'll say, with the new star boy that is Garnacho? That's what I want to know from our viewers.
What about asking me? Why do you ask me that? I'd love to answer that question. I'm packed with two. Anyway, I want to hear what the guys have to say about that. Anyway, Bill Badger is saying, will you get a topographical survey for your knee? Because we know that Stuart Marshall, he fell over. His knee's gone, unfortunately. I think that was from the celebration. Andy Herbert saying, big up. I see Amazon got all the football from Boxing Day up until New Year. So we're going to be watching it on there. On Stuart Marshall saying, it reminded me of the goal Ronaldo scored. They mentioned it in the commentary. Garnacho's goal. Oh, my God. Guys, I'm buzzing. But, yeah, Ronaldo scored a solo goal. Didn't play the 1-2. Just drove himself and slotted it. Real Madrid will come knocking 1.8 billion release clause. We should slap on him. Bruno had a shocker, being better as an NFL kicker. Big G says. Fulham have only lost one home game this season, as we mentioned earlier, which makes it even more impressive. Yes, Pat, he's consistent. Hope we go for him because you were talking about Paulista in the midfield. Yeah. Garnacho light up the World Cup. Not this one, mate. I don't think he's in the squad. I want to say hi to Devon Lindsay, man. Big up Devon Lindsay. He says, I'm buzzing about the win, but this only covers up how poor we were down the right-hand side. This is the Langer's side. And also how badly Ten Hag played his tactics. Bruno's not a right winger. Devon, we might have to bump heads on that. That's an interesting one. You make an interesting point. But we could bump heads on that on the show. Don't you guys think? Big G saying decent front line from Fulham and a decent manager, giving them respect. Shango, how you doing, Shango? Welcome to the channel. Saying, where is the man that said Garnacho is green and shouldn't be anywhere in the starting lineup? That was bath time. He was saying about not saying he's green, he's talking about his defensive responsibilities. Yes. Going forward, there's no issues with him. FC United saying, guys, if you've been observant, you would have seen Fulham have a large on-pitch screen. Well done. Okay, we're not going to go into that. Devon again saying, agreed, doesn't take away how bad we played them poorly, though. And Ten Hag was taking off Elanga for McTominay, made us worse, we reckon. So that's a talking point as well. We desperately need a right back and a right winger, says Big G. Bill Badger saying, Big G, Palestri, Garnacho, and Ahmad, experienced winger maybe on top of that. And I want to say hi to Glory Man United. He said, Garnacho's our mini little goat, greats of all time, and I'm excited to have such a real gem at the club. We'll come on to more comments soon, but just last one from me. Kerwin saying, yes, sir, character is the difference when we're referring to our man Malacia. So just talking about, should we touch on the Elanga thing then? Because you asked the question there, Rebel. Do you want to sort of respond to that, please, Pat? Because he's saying about Elanga, should he be going on loan? He's not getting enough game time experience to really show himself to build that confidence. He was dragged after 50-odd minutes. But he has some pros and cons. Tell me about him.
He's a good, strong, hard-working young lad who will do what Erik Ten Hag requires of him. At the moment, he might not be the finished article. And will he be in the squad in the future? Well, we're not too sure because we don't know to the rootless extent of what Erik Ten Hag is like. Will he just get rid of him and get somebody better? But what he brings at the moment is he's a good young lad. As you said earlier on, he's coming back. He's doing his defensive duties. He's helping out. He's not afraid to pick the ball up, and he's not afraid to run at them either. That's a very good attribute. Has he got the attributes of Garnacho where he can run at them and take them all on? No, unfortunately, he doesn't. He only feels like a kind of a straight line player. He'll go down the wing, probably do his best to cross it in. But one thing, you don't see his off the ball work, and I did notice that today. He's up and down that line. When we get the ball, he's going. He's stretching the Fulham team as well. So there's a lot of stuff he does off the ball as well that goes unnoticed. So would he benefit from playing with another team? Yeah, maybe, because he's going to be playing every game. But at the moment, we can't afford to do that.
Yeah. We've got a comment here. Devon said Elanga is just not good enough for Man United. That's, I think, why Rebel was saying it maybe needs to go on loan to get experience and see what he's really got. I think he's athletic. He's very strong. He can run fast. But I just think when he gets in certain positions, he had, like Pat was just saying, he hasn't got the sort of ability to sort of take people on, drive at people. And he hasn't really got the. I've seen in the other couple of games ago, he had a shot with his left foot right inside the 6-yard box and went out for a throw-in. So that was just an example and evidence for me that maybe he needs to sort of improve technically. But when you're doing a system, when you're a manager today, who I thought he was the perfect foil to come in to sit on the right hand side and to help out with our obvious weakness at right back today, for example. But yeah, there's lots of question marks. Okay, let's just talk about the game then quickly, guys, because first half we did actually score after 14 minutes. Let's talk about the goal. Pat, I'm going with you because you're taking the goal back. You like to look at a different phase way back to see why the goal was scored, because Fulham had the ball, didn't they, in the halfway line?
Yes. So basically, Fulham had the ball. Casemiro wins the ball. Man, I just think he's excellent. Casemiro is, right? But it's not just Casemiro. Casemiro wins the ball. Bread and butter stuff. Wins the ball back. Gets it to Eriksen. Now, this is what I like now. This is my part of the game I start to enjoy. Eriksen gets the ball. Gets it to Martial. Martial comes back and collects it. Now, this is one thing that Ronaldo, I don't see as much from Ronaldo as I like from the attribute I see from Martial. Eriksen gets the ball to Martial. Martial out to Bruno. Bruno gets the ball out on the left. Back across the box. Eriksen. So the fella who effectively started to play after picking the ball up off Casemiro puts the ball in the back of the net. They're the kind of goals I want to see. And they're the kind of goals I love. It's exciting. It's a team unit. And the person who starts to play finishes the play. That's what it's all about with me. I love to see that.
Your thoughts on the first goal? Do you agree that Casemiro should take a lot of credit for that, Rebel?
Absolutely. And I suppose, to use a basketball term, the resulting play that was made after the Casemiro intervention was a great goal in transition, because we broke and we went down the field instead of the court and hit them fast and accurately. It was definitely a goal that was worthy of much praise. And obviously, it was Eriksen's first goal, I think, in the Premier League for Manchester United. And he became the first Danish player to score for us since the great Peter Schmeichel against FC Roto Volgograd way back in September of 1995.
Fabulous. 1-0 up, and in the 45th minute, just before half-time, Bruno squared the ball across the 6-yard box. Again, Bruno's quite influential in this game. And Eriksen came into the end of it and tried to slot it with his left foot just wide. What a great... if that would have got in at 2-0 at half-time, I would have wrapped it up and gone home. Thoughts on that one? I mean, there's other chances in the half, but I'm just picking out two clear ones where Bruno was involved.
Well, just to go back to one you just spoke about there, Omundi. Where did that go? Where did that start from? Elanga had Robinson under pressure. Once again, stretching the players, gets them under pressure, wins the ball back. Ball goes back to Bruno. Bruno gets a pass. You would have put your mortgage on for anybody else to put that ball in the back of the net, but Eriksen missed it, and I was gutted it was. I couldn't believe he missed it. Him of all people, because he is a talented footballer. He took the ball down out of the air in about the 20th minute. Like, he just went, right, get the ball, stop there. And I couldn't do it in all my best days. How well he just took that's how good of a footballer we have on our hands there. We had another great chance. Luke Shaw. I tell you one thing, he's going up in my what's the word I'm looking for? He's going up in my he's going on my estimation. 45th, it was the 40th minute. He gets the ball, picks it up on the left, crosses it in. Martial up in the air, boom. I thought it was in the back of the net. If that had went in, I would have been delighted, not only for Martial, but for Luke Shaw. It's great to see him crossing the ball. His all-round game is getting better and better. But once again, we didn't put the ball in the back of the net. So it feels like a little bit of wasted chances. Is what we're not. Is
Rebel,
what,
do you want to add
what's
that?
important.
There's 25 in the comments. Press the like button, guys, because we'll be coming to you comments very soon. Rebel, the like Bruno, he's had a second chance for Eriksen. He gave the assist for Eriksen as well. I mean, this is the first half I'm talking about. Were there any other action scenes that you can remember from the first half that you want to touch on, or you just want to focus on Bruno? Because a lot of people are saying he plays too many Hollywood passes.
No, I think you have to take your cake and your lemons when it comes to Bruno Fernandes, because when he is absent, you do notice the difference, because those kind of passes that unlock defenses don't happen to the same level. So I think it is very important to realize that we do need him to be taken on and be willing to take on those when they're appropriate. I suppose kind of showing the dark side of Bruno, he was guilty for coughing up the ball for the Fulham goal. Now, not to completely and utterly hang him out to dry, when we talked about what Ten Hag was going to bring in terms of what he expected with his fullbacks, when he's going to apply his system, it was normally the case that we'd expect one fullback to go forward and one to tuck in. But if you remember, in this particular circumstance, both Shaw and Malacia were in an advanced position, and essentially, once we lost the ball, we were overcommitted on the forward line. And when you have somebody that is as pacey as Dan James, able to hair off like the Roadrunner, you're asking for trouble. So what we had there was not only a fault of Bruno coughing up the ball, that is going to happen when you are the type of player that he is. We had an overcommitment from our wingbacks, and I'd imagine that's something that Ten Hag is going to have in the ears of his players when they're watching back the tape I suppose after the World Cup at this point, but I'd imagine there'll definitely be a bit of homework on that front. So with Bruno Fernandes, you have to take Dr. Jekyll with Mr. Hyde.
I don't know. I can't take the. I know you're not saying a Rebel, but I'm not too keen on anybody giving the Bruno bashing at the moment. In that first half, I thought Bruno Fernandes played very well. He was coming back. He was shoulder to shoulder sometimes with Casemiro, putting in challenges, coming back and doing his duties. 20th minute, he put a ball over the top, and I couldn't believe my eyes. It was an absolute cracker. All Martial, all Marcus Rashford had to do was the same finish as Scott McTominay done in the last previous game, but obviously it wasn't meant to be, and Marcus didn't have the greatest of finish. Bruno Fernandes' performance in the first half was fantastic. It only went a bit different when he was put out on the right, and maybe just the right-hand side position, even though it probably would have made sense for Mr. Ten Hag at the time. It just doesn't suit him as well as giving him that free role as playing at the number 10.
You know, on this channel, we like to do involvement and get people involved in the comments, and we're going to read out a few of them now. Big G saying we just can't keep getting or having these youngsters and not throwing them in the deep end. So that was proof in the pudding today by putting on a youngster, showing faith, and last couple of games he scored good goals. Bill Badger saying part of the problem having not played many of the kids is the first team's not blown teams away. Eddie saying, I agree, Bruno's just not working overall in the team. He did, and Ole, lots of poor passing, but gets an assist. So he's always a divided opinion about Bruno. Eddie's also saying, I agree with who said that Ten Hag's got the tactics wrong today. Second half, I saw so many ineffective long balls from centre-back, which they keep doing, keep trying, even though it didn't work. That's a tactic for the manager, maybe. Bill Badger is saying Sancho's got a huge problem with his team. His place back in the team. Not Bill Badger, Mr. B, who done the watch long with TalkMU. Go and check that out. Obviously, you must have watched it. Really good, those two. He's saying, everyone press the like button. Thank you. Big G saying, Bruno's like a rabbit in the headlights. When he has the ball, so frustrating. You see what I mean? It's thing. Devon again saying he always tries to make $1 million pass, but can't hold on to the ball to save his life. He just drowns. A lot of negativity towards Bruno. Emma's saying he needs to get healthy first, mentally and physically, before he starts thinking about his place. Super Garnacho says Colum, who compared him to Messi the other day, not directly, just saying he's a young gem at 18 years old, doing things that are exciting and not many people in the Prem can do. Big G saying Bruno gets the ball and his bum drops or it twitches. Callum again saying, I said it the other night, the young man has something special. He did. You're not saying about the Messi thing. I had to say that for you. TalkMU saying scrappy second half, but the way we scored the goal is a measure of how far we come under Ten Hag. Garnacho is special. We're coming on to Garnacho. I think that's the main talk point. Everyone wants to talk about Garnacho, but I wanted to talk about the goal that we conceded because Rebel made really good points about it. Just want to say hi to Rich Sports as well. Garnacho seems to deliver every time he gets on the pitch. Daniel Ramirez as well. How you doing, Daniel? He's saying Garnacho will have this break to work with Ten Hag. No doubt he keep growing. Hopefully the rest of the squad who stays will get behind and will grow too as a team. So some really good comments there, guys. Let's talk about this goal that we conceded then, because obviously I'm going to incorporate the tactical change that the manager made. We had the balance with Elanga. He decided maybe that we were going to get over in midfield, so he's put McTominay on as well and put Bruno on the right, which he's done a few times recently. And so Elanga's come off after 50-odd minutes, and we had a 3-man in midfield, which would be Eriksen, Casemiro, and McTominay as well, who seem to be playing quite high up the pitch as well. But he can get back. He's got that physicality to help out. And I understood the tactic there. But just because they scored, I don't think it's to do with that. It's just that the ball was played, we were breaking, the ball was played, a crossfield ball was pinged to Bruno. He tried to control it from going up in the touchline. The left back came in, pinched the ball, and they raided, and that's where Daniel James got in front of the fullbacks. Because when Bruno was going forward, like Pat was saying, or Rebel was saying, the two fullbacks bombed forward, and it's unfortunate because now they're out of shape. They didn't expect Bruno to get pinched there. But hey, that happens. My issue would be, I think Luke Shaw should get in front of the man at the back post. And I think Lindelof should really sort of show himself as well to stop that ball coming across, fizzing across that 6-yard box. That's your zone. You got to deal with it. But otherwise, I can't be too critical. Guys, any more thoughts on the goal?
No, I just thought Dan James caught his dopey on the back post. And the lads need to be switched on for 90 minutes when it comes to defending. That's all.
Just the other thing that I'd like to add is I wonder, could you say that De Gea was caught a bit unawares and not really concentrating what was transposing in front of him, because it seemed, given his position, that possibly maybe if he got a leg out in a different angle, that maybe he could have deflected it away from the goal. But again, maybe I'm being a bit harsh here, but it just seems when you're looking down the pitch that he should have been a bit more prepared for a ball coming in kind of tight to where he was standing.
You can say that as well, but the little gap the ball came through, was it Lindelof's legs, or was it? I think it was Lindelof's legs. He kicked it through his legs when he crossed it across the box. So it's a short angle for the ball to come through. It's so quick coming through. When I hit De Gea's shin, he's kind of looking at it, and then it was in the back of the net. He didn't even have a chance to react. So, look, we have to just suck it up. It was a goal, and they got it.
Brush is saying, by the way, hi, Brush, how you doing, man? He's in playing proper scrappy second half. Fortunate to come away with 3 points as well. And with the look, I think the centre-back is supposed to, that's your zone. I just want to talk about the 2 saves that De Gea made prior to that. One with his feet, which led to a corner, and then the corner came over, and the big USA centre-back, when they go, ream, all of the Fulham fans.
Yeah.
He must love that. He must love that. And he's going to the World Cup as well, so he'll be coming up against England. He had a point-blank header, which De Gea flicked over the bar as well. So that's the bonus with De Gea. He made some good saves. Just to counter you there, Rebel, because you were saying maybe De Gea could have stopped that goal somehow. It's just, I thought it was really unfortunate. They hit us on a break. I didn't see them hurting us prior to that. But obviously people were out of position. And when that happens at this level, anything can happen. But I do think Lindelof should have, that's his zone. You've got to shape up properly and stop any ball coming across. And sure, don't let the man come in front of you. Make the effort. You've got to get ball side. It's simple defending. Just go back to Shaw as well. I know I'm waffling now, but I think Shaw's always had good ability. But his first touch, you ping him a ball, his first touch can get him out of his feet, and he's running in his stride already. He's really good at that, and I'm so impressed with that. I think he's underrated. If you really said to me who's got the best first touch in the club or in the league, I think Shaw should be in the argument, to put it that way. So credit to Shaw as well, apart from the defending there. So anyway, it's 61 minutes now. They scored. On 72 minutes, the managers decided to make a change because obviously we've gone to Bruno on the right, and that's maybe for insurance. And then they scored. So he was quite brave. He took off Martial. How was Martial playing at the time for Garnacho? Rebel, how do you think Martial played today? Do you think that was the right call to take him off?
I think with Martial, obviously given that he's been in and out with various soft tissue injuries, it was going to happen that he was going to come off, regardless of whether he had scored or whether he was influential in the game. I think there was probably a predetermined decision that we're going to give you X amount of minutes and then you're coming off because we cannot afford to have you go down again. With Martial, I think it is going to be quite a case of building him back up to that 90-minute position where you wouldn't be afraid to let him out there. But I think there's always going to be a little niggle in the back of the head. He's only coming back from an injury run. We brought him back before and he's gone down again, so we need to make sure that his rehabilitation is correct. So I have no problems with Martial being brought off given the circumstances. I think he did appear lively at times, but obviously, as with a lot of the Manchester United performance, all our performances dropped off in the second half. So again, there's nothing to take from him in isolation. So the decision to go for it was obviously one that's worthy. The one, I suppose, speaking of the benches, I suppose what did concern me with the Manchester United bench today is obviously we hadn't named the full bench, number one, and number two, we'd actually utilised two goalkeepers again. So what kind of a message does that kind of paint in terms of how thin our squad is? There's a lot of speculators out there that are saying the Arsenal squad is thin and that once they get a few injuries that they won't be able to maintain. But looking at that squad today and given what is currently out for various reasons, it does suggest that maybe Manchester United isn't all that deep once you go beyond the first 5 or 6 subs on the starting 11. And I just want to touch on one thing with Sancho, because there was a lot of our commentators actually wondering, where is Sancho? And there's a number of different media sources at the moment saying that his absence is not actually fueled by an illness. We had the speculation from the England World Cup squad announcement that Jadon Sancho was left out due to his attitude in terms of the way that he came to training camps for England, etc., and that patience was run out of. So there is speculation that maybe his attitude is less than desired in terms of the way Ten Hag is looking at him, and that's why at the moment he's not present. But I think it's very concerning looking at the depth of our bench at the moment, because Ten Hag did have very few options in the more attacking sense without taking a punt on one of our more untried youngsters.
Pat?
Oh, I hope it's only an attitude thing with Jadon Sancho, because the boy has talent for days. So I hope he's going to come back in and he's going to get better. Was it just Jadon Sancho we were talking about? Because I've lost the point of what the initial.
Talking about the sub bench, that we don't have enough strength in depth slightly. Talking about looking at the bench, we had 2 goalkeepers, for example, and a couple of youngsters, Iqbal and those sort of guys, comparing it to Arsenal.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was very light for what we had. A game like that, bringing on Zidane Iqbal would have been very unfair. Playing him with the age he's at, coming up against a 27-year-old Paulina, who was on form and was kicking lumps out of everybody else. I think it would have been very unfair to bring him into a game like that. But Ten Hag did make the right choices with bringing Martial off. He was looking at the game. He's saying to himself, 72nd minute, I could bring off Anthony Martial or Marcus Rashford. I need one of them to run the legs off themselves for the rest of this game. Who am I going to leave on? Marcus Rashford is a no-brainer. He can run all day. This is only Anthony's second game back. And he made the right choice by bringing on Garnacho, as we've all found out, and I can't wait to get to.
Yeah, we're getting to that. Just before we do, one last point I'm going to make. So it's on the 82nd minute when we're getting sort of a bit frustrated now, thinking, oh, God, we don't want to draw. We want to push on now. How are we going to score this goal? And then Shaw makes a beautiful cross from McTominay. And he's supposed to say, good morning, head down, good morning, head down. And he plays it over the bar, man. That was a good chance. But I admire McTominay because like the last game, he's getting into, he's seeking out chances and getting high up the pitch and getting to the end of things. That the goal he scored against Villa, fantastic run from Garnacho. And he, once again, Shaw's giving him a great pass on his nut, head it down, and let's go home. But he missed that. But yeah, let's get to the point because there's like 55 people in watching right now. Make sure you press the like button. We are here to talk about this man who's come on from Martial. Obviously, he's gone on to the left. What's his name? Rashford's down the middle, and Bruno was remaining on the right. I just want to touch on this because I think this is brilliant. We were deep in our half. They were trying to press us. We were trying to play out. Shaw had the ball. Martinez composed. They didn't want to rush him at this point. Passed to Shaw, who's right near the corner flag, and they tried to press him. Shaw didn't even control the ball. First time pass through the press into the feet of Ericsson, and then Ericsson drove forward to the halfway line. And guess who's hugging the touchline? It's my man, Garnacho. He pops it to Garnacho, who's hugging the touchline, and continues his run. This is a really good move. Go and check the move back from the beginning.
It's very good.
Garnacho, one touch and go, push and go. Mind you, Reed is really quick as well. So Reed's like, right, it's on. I've got to be on my toes. So instead of trying to drive at him, he gives the 1-2 to the man, the reliable man that everyone wants to pass to. It's like pinball machine passing to this guy. It's Ericsson. Pops it into Ericsson, gets the return, and finishes sweet with his left foot, and we all jumped off ourselves. What a goal! What a player! Come on, let's just talk about Garnacho, man. I've had enough. Let's talk about Garnacho. What a player! What a run! What a move! What maturity! Driving in the box like that, getting in front of his defender, so the defender had to foul him, and still slotting it with his left foot like he did the other day. Let's all about Garnacho before we finish the show. Let's go.
It was just the lad came onto the pitch, and it's the electrifying pace that gets us going. He picks up the ball and he's straight at them. Like when Martinez won that ball back straight away, it was like the same play for the first goal. Gets the ball to Ericsson. Ericsson gets it out to Garnacho. Garnacho gets it back to Ericsson again. And the fella just ran like lightning. And it's very easy for people to say this, but he kept a defender off his shoulder. Why he ran towards that goal. And Ericsson once again with that silky ball. It's a silky ball again from Ericsson, which was fantastic. And I think it was Emma Kay who put it in the chat there earlier on. Fair play to you. It was Garnacho running behind the goal, shaking that jersey like a young Cristiano Ronaldo. You know what? I was buzzing. It took me about 5 minutes to be able to open the laptop to get it upstairs. It's like, oh God. I was afraid to leave in case anything else happened. So what a way to finish the game, lads. What a way to go into the World Cup. I am buzzing. And that this is only the start for this young lad. Long may it last.
I'm just going to come in. I'm just going to come in briefly. I think the way the goal transpired has been adequately described, but there was a comparative that I thought was interesting. I'm going to take you back to 2007 at the same ground. Cristiano Ronaldo from the same side scored a similar type goal, and they're saying, is this a sign that we're seeing the second coming of somebody of that caliber at Manchester United? So I think definitely credit has to be given for him taking that finish the way that he did. I suppose if I am going to be a little bit critical, and I'm going to have to be a bit critical, as he gets a more wise head on his shoulders, he's going to have to rein in the emotion of getting a winner, because obviously you're going to have in your head about suspensions. Now, chances are this yellow card won't make an overall difference to his suspension.
Rebel. Come on.
You have to be analytical.
Rebel, if that was me, I'd have thrown me boots into the crowd and everything.
Rebel, someone talk to Rebel in the comments, man. Oh my God. Colin saying, is Rebel saying Garnacho Ronaldo reigns? Regen. Yeah.
Regen. Yeah. But I no, it's just something that with as he gets older and as these things become more commonplace for him, I think it's something that he will kind of be more calculating about. TalkMU, what I'm referring to is, as you know, 5 yellow cards garners you a suspension. And if you're giving away cheap yellow cards, it's not obviously something that you are going to want to be clocking up for no reason. So, hence
why Dallo wasn't on the pitch today.
But you're saying as he gets older, he's going to learn more about it. But you've got older and you've got more shrewd. Man, I mean, come on. Look at the emotion about football. That's what we want to see. There's no need for VAR. He knew that was a brilliant goal. And as someone said in the comments as well, Ericsson's through ball as well was just as sweet as that. Ericsson's a great player, man. I have to give him that. Going to go through. We're going to be very quick now because I want some comments quickly.
Can I have one quick observation? The league table came up there just before the Sky coverage finished. And I just want to know, the people in the comments, if they're concerned about this. Our goal difference at present is nil.
Zero.
We have 0 positive, 0 negative. So do you think it's a case that we were conceding too many cheap goals, or whether or not we need to be utilising more of the chances and put them in the back of the net? That's what I want to know.
No, my opinion is we're not putting nothing in the back of the net. And that's hands
Look,
down.
We've conceded a lot of goals. 4 against, was it City beat us? We have Brighton beat us, or Brentford beat us by 4. We're just getting back. We're just getting those goals back now. And we don't really score many goals, do we? But we scored two today, and we scored 3 in the second half the other day. Or 4, sorry, in the second half the other day. Rebel, you're getting pelters in the comments, man. People come here to celebrate. Rebel knows, says Paddy. We're not having that, Rebel. And Colin saying it's good to see the passion from the player in United shirt as well. So, Rebel, don't worry about the yellow cards. Garnacho steals the show. That's what went down tonight. Guys, man of the match in the comments, please. Who was your favourite player today? Who made the difference? We're going to start with you, Pat. Let's talk about the defence. Anyone single out a defender and just talk about a score for his performance?
Luke Shaw, best defender of all of the defence. I would give him a 8 for his performance today.
Rebel, defence. Do you want to pick out a defender, or do you want to stay with Luke Shaw? Because I am.
I think there's nothing really to add in the defence position, so I'm going to shift up into the midfield to put out my midfielder of the game, and possibly of the man of the match from the United perspective, and that is Christian Eriksen.
Hands up.
Okay, that's good. That's a good one. I thought he done well today. So obviously he scored the goal, assisted for the second one, and he's a pinball machine with the ball. Midfield as well. I just want to highlight Bruno. We talked about him earlier, but I thought he done really well today, and he takes a lot of responsibility. And I'm starting to see the value of him as a player, because granted we did miss him the other day. Up front we had Rashford, Elanga, and Martial as well. I thought Martial done well. I think he gets a 7. Good to see him back. As I was talking to Pat at half time, Pat was saying you can see the difference between him and Ronaldo. He holds up the ball so well. He brings people in. He had chances as well. Look at that move in the first half where he sort of held his run offside because he thought it'd be offside, and then still got shot off when he thinks Eriksen played him in as well. So it shows a lot of intelligence. He's grown an afro, grown a beard, and a nice moustache as well, showing his maturity now. He doesn't really care about looks. He's there to play football, and we're seeing the best of him, I think. Forwards, guys.
Martial all day. He's the glue that brings us together. He's, for a man who's only came back after 2 games, look how sharp he is. And could you imagine how sharp he could be if he gets 5 games in a row?
Man of the match, guys, quickly, because I'm going to go to the comments.
It's Eriksen from Manchester United, but if I had to give it to a Fulham player, it has to be Polina. He was fantastic.
Okay, I'm going to say I think Luke Shaw was fabulous today. All right, I know I criticised him. He should come across ball side for the goal, but I thought he played really well. There's a lot of things he done well. The other stuff like Eriksen and Martinez, they're maintaining that standard. So they could easily be man of the match, but it's just a standard they're just maintaining. So I think you're fabulous, but it's good to see Luke Shaw step up in different areas, but apart from the goal that we conceded. Anyway, I just want to go to the comments finally before we finish. Eriksen, man of the match from Column. Big G says Eriksen and Shaw, man of the match. Eriksen and Paulino, as you were saying, Box is saying. Garnacho, man of the match, got the winner, says Cormac. How you doing, Cormac? Big up. Emma's saying Lindelof was good today. Yeah, it was okay. Paulino was quality. How Fulham managed to get him, I don't know, says Matthew Bassett. Money says
you got him from Braga, just to let you know. The last couple of years he's been a Braga.
Bill Badger said Eriksen was man of the match. Garnacho, man of the match from Vincent. Hi, Vincent. How you doing? And a support here from Andy Herbert saying Martial was great up front, bringing in players into good positions as well. And final word for you, Kurt Kirby, says Luke Shaw and the fans who never stop believing. Wow, that's it. We're going to have a big break now. The Man United agenda is not finished, though. We are still delivering shows every day of the week. We've got some great brainstorming put together, and we're going to produce some really good shows, quizzes, prizes, excitement, fantasy stuff as well. We're following the World Cup. So make sure you join us. I know the Irish guys haven't got a team in the World Cup. They will be here, definitely.
Oh, and, that was bad.
I know. Quick tip, who's winning the World Cup, guys?
Who's winning it? Who's going to win it? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you.
While he's thinking, I'll say Brazil.
Look, okay, I would like to see Argentina, but I'd say Brazil are going to win it.
And we're following all the Man United players in the World Cup. There's a few of them, isn't there? And it'd be nice to see them do well and maybe not get to the final, come back well rested, because I'm looking forward to this training camp in Cadiz. Sorry, the players are going on, because I'm sure they'll be learning so much with Ten Hag when he's got time with them and to work on things. So big up, Man United fans. 27 in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you stop and press the like button while you're there. And we've seen Rebels here, and Cookies join me as well, because we're delighted. Pat, last word from you.
No, don't worry. We're not going anywhere, and we'll see you all next week, lads.
And Rebel,
And
you're showing your face.
My final word is actually in regards to a Brazilian player. It's about Fred. I want to know in the comments after the show what people think of the reports that Ten Hag is willing to let Fred's contract expire and depart Manchester United.
Good one. Well, we've got our 3 points today. We left at the last minute. That's how we do it. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I know I will. And God bless. And we'll see you tomorrow at 8:30. Later.